In this video, we're going to look at how to change the overall look of your resume using basic built-in features in Microsoft Word. This will work with Microsoft Word versions 2013, 2016, and the current versions in 2024, basically Office 365, offline or online version. Basically, it's going to work in pretty much all of the Word versions that you might have on your computer. So the first thing, so I'm going to start making the changes, and then you'll get the idea of and the pattern of what I'm doing. And we're going to just basically continue doing that pattern, and I won't bore you with doing the pattern for the entire resume. I'll get it started. So the first thing we're going to do, and again, it's going to be a little boring when I'm getting started, but just follow through for just a few minutes and it'll be worthwhile. So first thing I'm going to do, again, what I just did is I highlighted a name and then clicked on heading 1. And let me do that again. Actually, let's make that the title. That's already the title. And I'm going to make this heading 1 the summary, right? On experience, make that heading 1. I'm going to click on this and make this heading 2. And what I'll do is, this is actually in a table. We don't want it in a table. So what I'll do is I'll remove it from the table, and then I'll make it heading 2. And we'll keep that maybe as is for now. And then I'll do the same thing here. Remove the content from the table. Okay, one cell at a time. So that's not in a table anymore. Maybe put that here like the other one. Make this heading 2. And what I'll do is everything else, all the text should be basically normal. So when you highlight it, normal should show up. And so we're just going to make sure that's the case for most of the text. So that's fine. And that's fine too. Maybe what we'll do is the city name, we'll make it heading 3. See how that works out. And we can play around with it. Heading 3. And I think the margins are a little bit too thick on this resume. So I'm just going to change the design, the layout, sorry, and make the margins narrow. I just tend to narrow our margins on my resumes. All right, and we want to follow the same kind of pattern for the rest of the resume. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just quickly make this the same as the other headings. So I'll just do all the headings. So this was heading 1, heading 1. Okay, so I'll make the education heading 1, skills heading 1, projects heading 1. Again, and this person only has 1 project. Let's make the project title heading 2. I think that would work out well. Volunteer experience. Let's make this heading 1 again. References heading 1, and then that's enough for now. And now we're going to do the magic. So this is something that's been built into into Word for a long time, but people just don't use this feature. But we're going to show you how to use it. So you go to design, right? And then you choose what design you want to use. And one of the ones I like using most often is this one, shaded design. So you can see all of a sudden this resume looks a little bit more elevated, a little bit more professional, and there's some artifacts here and there. We'll get rid of this table, clean this up, right? So we don't need this table, right? So something random. This is fine. So I missed this experience. So the nice thing about this is you can always fix it, right? So we'll just do the same thing that we have done before. Make this heading 2, right? Back to home. Make that heading 2, right? And this date is looking awkward now. So maybe let's try something else. Let's be heading 4, right? And let's try that. I'm liking that. And we can play around with this, right? So now it has a nice consistent look, right? So what else can we do? The overall look is more improved. We can get rid of some extra spaces that are not needed. There's a table here that we should just delete. So we'll just delete the table here, clean up these extra spaces. And maybe another thing we can do is just make all the fonts the same. So right now the font this is using and this is using is different, which is making it look a little awkward. So let's just use the same font for everything, which is Calibri. All right. So again, if you look at the resume we started with, and now looking at this resume, things are much more cleaned up. Maybe we can use heading 2 for this. This is also in a table. So let's get rid of the table, because when things are in table, then it gets restricted a little bit too much unnecessarily. So move that here. Let's delete this table and make this heading 4. And this was title. So this is first name, last name. All right. Spacing is looking just slightly awkward on this resume. So I'm just gonna fix the spacing a little bit. No spacing? No, I don't want to do that. That didn't work out well. Let's try going to paragraphs and maybe just change it to 0 before and after. That looks a little bit better, right? A little bit more kind of normal range. Maybe we'll add a space there. All right, so things are looking more improved overall. This is looking like a more pleasant looking, more consistent resume. Maybe add a space here. That might be a good idea. I'm still not liking these tables too much, but maybe we can fix that as well. Let's fix that now. Location. So we'll make that. So we'll make it follow the same format as what we did with the experience section. So I'm just removing the content of the tables, right? And then we're gonna change the style. Okay, we want to do that. Change the style and do this and this. So now we can get rid of the table. Tables just often are just messy and cumbersome to deal with in resumes. So things are still looking messy right now, but we're going to use our magic again using the headings and the subheadings. So heading 2, heading 3, right? And heading 2, we make this heading 3, maybe make this part of the same thing, right? Make this heading 2 again, so that it's just, okay, leave the space here, and heading 2, heading 3, right? There you go. So things are pretty good now. Again, there's a table here. So we can do similar things to what we have done and the rest of the things. You know what, actually maybe what we can do is improve the table to that. So let's go to table design and just pick from one of these designs and just improve the look of the table itself. And let's go to layout. No, maybe not. Maybe that was a little bit better. But maybe center the whole table. Maybe go to home and center the whole table. So that's a little bit better. And we don't need everything to be bold in here. So I think that's okay, right? And then do the same thing with this guy. And consistency is important in resumes. So we'll use the same design, right? Just pick this and go to home. And we don't need everything to be bold, and do this, right? So now we have a much more improved looking resume, which is good. So now that we have applied, so what I'm going to do is save this as a different version, right? Now that we have applied these style settings to the entire resume, we can go back to the design and actually choose different colors, different color combinations. So whichever one kind of looks interesting to you, pops for you, maybe fits your style. So we just did that, right? So this looks pretty pleasant. And another thing I'm not liking too much is there's way too much bold in here. You can use some bolding, but this much bolding, it just looks kind of awkward. It takes away from it rather than helping or improving the resume. So I'm going to get rid of all the bold. So let's do that. So we got rid of all the bold here. And again, highlighting a line or two, or let's say this line, for example, let's say this is very important to the person who made this resume. We can do that, right? So now we can see that this is a far more improved looking version to this resume. I want to read this and, oh, this is another table. Fun, so many tables. But again, you don't have to get rid of all the tables. We can improve this table too. That, and get rid of the bold, and also center this again as well. This is pretty good. And of course, I just did this in, I've been making a video for 14 minutes now. So whoever the resume this belongs to, they can do similar things and spend a little bit more time on it, clean things up here and there. So maybe let's just do a couple more tweaks and improvements. So maybe let's keep this as part of one line, right? All of the experiences, right? So that looks good. So that's further improved. So now you can see everything is so much more consistent looking. All the fonts are right, all the spacing is right, all the things just look more consistent overall. This is much now, compared to before, a much more pleasant looking resume. So I'm going to just save this version